Welcoming you to the Leela Podcast, a place where you can discover all things Osho Leela. You'll get to meet the community, learn about community life, and listen in as we share about our upcoming events and workshops from the perspective of the facilitators and the attendees, supporting you to find your way to Leela. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Osho Leela podcast. My name is Louise. I'm going to be interviewing our wonderful Kalia. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kalia before we start. So Kalia is, number one, she's my dear friend and dear sister, and just that person that we get together and we can just go and just continue on and on until we have to actually put boundaries into ourselves and our time. And she is also, if you know Osho Leela and you are part of our Facebook group or our Instagram following, then you will actually know Kalia as one of our promotions team. She is over the social media in particular, as well as many other facets of the promo team. She does so much. She is a whiz and full of creativity. So that's from a promo perspective. She also lived at Osho Leela for a year and a half, I think it was. Yeah. You left in January, but have remained a core part of our team in promotions as well, working from a distance, because this can happen now. We can actually just work anywhere. So she's still very much part of our community. Kalia is also a psychosexual somatic coach. She works with embodiment. She has just been a big part of our Desire and Intimacy Festival, which has just completed. We just need to say this actually, don't we? Because we were like, okay, we've just had a 5-day festival, which has been epic. It's been amazing. Kalia's had a big role in it. She's head of the care team, so the dynamic care team. She was a specialist and lead for that. So she's been really full on. I've been part of it, doing promo, being part of the festival, so we were like, yeah, we've got to go and put our faces on screen. So we just want to name the tiredness.
Yeah, there's still excitement, but there's an underlying okay, we've just done a festival and here we are, but we still wanted to be here and do this. So we're just coming as we are.
Yeah. So welcoming Kalia into the podcast.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you here. So we're gonna touch a little bit on the festival, and we're also going to be talking about Kalia's experience here, having been part of the community and having also done a lot of the workshops here as well. Yeah. So let me just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just do that together.
Beautiful. Thank you. Nice. We've learned that a lot. In breath, out with sound.
Yeah.
It's so helpful for the nervous system.
Absolutely. Yeah. So start telling me about, tell me first of all about the last 5 days for you, being back at Leela, and your experience of the festival, whichever kind of way you want to
thank you.
share about that, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's been such a heartfelt, nourishing time, on so many levels. So I'll speak to the sort of more the professional remit level of being the specialist and lead for the dynamic care team. I mean, that has been such a beautiful and really, really central role to the festival, having this focus on the collective nervous system of the festival so that people can lean into edges and be in their what we call window of tolerance, which means basically that they're in their range of being present and in their bodies and also experiencing these things. So they're connected to their bodies, they're connected to their breath, which means that nobody's kind of tapping out too much or going out of their range where it might be more challenging for them. So it's really been taking care of having that support and holding in the workshops, also supporting the participants on an individual basis if they need support, and also just the facilitators knowing that somebody else is in the room or more than one of us is in the room, and so that they can just relax that part and they can really be in flow in their guides, the guidance, the facilitation, just knowing that we're the ones that are kind of looking to see how is everyone doing, where do we feel our energy might be? Is there somebody that might need some support? And just knowing that if a participant raises their hand, somebody's got that covered. So it's just been so beautiful to be bringing that. And I've really seen over the last 5 days how the energy has just been so open, so receptive. There's been some huge pieces of transformation happening for people, you know, sharing their experiences, and it's just been like, wow, this has been one of the most potent festivals they've ever been to. And these are well-seasoned people that have been in like the fields of exploring intimacy, sexuality, relating, transformation, and they're like, this has been one of the most transformational. And it's been a key part of that for them was knowing that they were just well held, so they could really just drop in and be with that process. And I'm just like, what a gift to get to be a part of that, to get to be like a cog in this wheel of just an amazing festival, and that each person's had a really clear, really like just well thought out, and just a collective sort of piece where there's just been this care throughout the festival running. And that's been the dynamic care team, and there were 4 incredible people that were on that team who applied to be in that role. They just have such a huge amount of experience and training as well, that they could then bring that wisdom to the festival, as well as me then bringing my experience and wisdom to them. You know, my role was really about like the coordination, the cohesion, some sort of logistical parts as well, but then just being really there for them, so that my role was holding them so that they could then hold the workshops and things. So it's been just so lovely, and just so there aren't words. It's just such a heart, like it's just so I feel so expanded in my heart. Like just being in this role and being in service in this way has just meant so much, and also being so appreciated on so many levels, from the host to the facilitators to the participants to people at Leela, and just really like seeing like how important this piece is for people moving into these spaces where it may be a little bit edgy, it may be out of your comfort zone, and just knowing that you can come into this from whatever background, level of experience. You could be a complete beginner. I mean, we had people that were so new to this, hadn't even been to Leela before, and they were feeling like, wow, okay, I can really feel the care here. And that's also credit to the residential care team as well. So we worked with another care team who were much more out there, much more visible, much more available for people just generally to just get that support on the go. So it's been so lovely to speak to that piece of care, and really bringing that into the space, which has just been like, just amazing really. So that's kind of more of the sort of professional side. And then for me personally, coming back to Leela after leaving in January, so it's been like, I think about 4.5, nearly 5 months. It's just been so lovely to go and have integrated my experience after living here for 1.5 years, and then coming back with this new, more integrated, more like this newer version of myself, and then interacting with people like my loved ones. You know, you're a dear sister, and other people that I'm here with, and it's just like, hi. And it's just been so nourishing to come back and just be in my heart, and just to be back with family really. You know, my it's my second home, so it's been so beautiful to revisit in this capacity, still have a link in with promo as well, which has felt really good. So I just feel like just so nourishing for me. It's been so nourishing. And I use the word healing as well, and because on some levels, when you've lived in community and with families, you know, we have families, sometimes challenges can come up. So like coming into the space, like having resolved like pretty much all of those challenges like in myself, and then meeting these people and being like, I love you. It's just like so like it's medicine for the heart really. And this is one of the potent like joys and medicines that you can get from living with others. It has so much beauty, and also through the challenges and leaning in and coming back to love, like that is the path of the heart, which is very true to what Osho Leela is about. So I feel like just really good. Really, really good. I'm so grateful to you, Louise, as well, for your continued support, and just really feel you, and you've really supported me to like come back into this space, because it can be a little bit edgy sometimes. I thought I might be nervous, but I wasn't. I was so welcomed, and it's just felt just really lovely.
Beautiful. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here for my own personal reasons, but just everything that you're bringing as well is just so beautiful, and So it's just been such a wonderful experience, you know, talking from a participant perspective and also promo and everything, and you bring so much, so it's great.
Thank you.
Glad you're here, my love. So I guess we can kind of like, start to weave in now, like if you can talk a bit more to your experience in Leela, because you came, so it would have been, what, 2.5 years ago, I guess?
Yeah.
Was that the first time you came to Leela? No.
Yeah, so I visited briefly. I think it was May 2021.
Okay.
That's my sense. My dates are a little bit off, but I think it was May 2021. And I came briefly on the LIB program. So some of my wider community supported me to make a visit here, which was really about a time in my life where health wasn't so good, and it was like, go somewhere where you can just be nourished and nurtured. And I was so taken by the community, which many people are when they come here. You just fall in love with the place. And I was like, oh wow. And then they put a call out for somebody to support with promotions, which is an area that I really enjoy, like, because I like to express on social media. I feel like there's a lot of skills and knowledge that I can bring to that area. And I was like, I'm there, because I was in a bit of a transitionary period, which was great. It meant I could just come straight away. So pretty much moved in, I think, it would have been then the September that year.
2021, right? Okay.
I think it's that year. I can't work out maths, but anyway, September I came here and then left in the January. So it works out about a year and a half.
Wow. Okay. And so you came in as promotions, and then you did you did some of the workshops and stuff. Pretty much dived straight in. I was going to say September. That's kind of when.
I loved it. I mean, from a promo side, like, part of the motivation for doing a lot of the workshops was so that I could feel and know what the workshops were about, to be able to then talk about them, write about them on social media. So it made sense from a practical point of view that, you know, somebody who's taken a big role in promotions gets to know, like, the lay of the land with how, like, Osho Leela works, like a lot of their offerings here. So I just dived in, but also I'm kind of one of those people that loves to learn and loves to do like my own personal development. I'm always up for transforming. I like to keep things moving quite a lot. I'm always willing to look at myself and learn, and to take the lessons that life wants to give me. And so I guess I'm sharing my experience from a person who's very much like, I'm quite experienced also at doing like workshops and things like that. But as soon as I heard what was on offer, I was like, I want to do that. Straight away I was like, I want to do that. And actually it gave me so much. It actually gave me so much from a personal level, like also it was so different to anything I'd ever experienced. And actually for somebody that kind of needs a little bit more of a challenge, like needs more of a bigger edge to lean into, for me it was just, it gave me so much, because I had a lot of experience, but I kind of needed something that was a little bit more, my edge will be different to somebody else's edge, and it was like, here's an edge for you to really start to be seen. And I was like, I'm very comfortable, like, as much as I can be quite present on social media, like I do really like the back seat. So it was really an invitation to like be seen in the community, to start to express myself through the workshops, and that's what they really gave me. And I think the two that stand out the most for me was the Total Life Change Intensive and the Leela Life Training. And I feel like that they were really foundational ones for me. Really transformational. And of course I've done other things here as well, and it's the offerings all give you something, like they'll meet something in you, and depending on what resonates and what you're seeking. But for me personally, they were like really powerful.
The cool ones, I think. As you're speaking, it's so funny because we've got like such a similar experience, you know, like, and then the promo thing, and it's like, it's just you have to feel it, right? You have to feel it to be able to kind of like be able to like then talk about it. And be able to say yes, you know, kind of to it. And so that's great too. It's a good way in, isn't it? Okay, so did you do the Leela Life Training first, or the TLC?
I did the TLC for the Total Life Training Intensive first. Okay. That was my first experience of one of the workshops here. So I dived in, and then the Leela Life Training came after that.
Okay.
So it was a nice way of doing it, actually. I think because the total life change really gives you quite an immersive experience into like what Leela's about, and then you can I feel that's a good bridge for me, was a good bridge into the longer term work of the Leela Life Training. So for me that worked really well, and it doesn't matter what, you know, that you don't have to have, there's no order to these things if you're interested in these workshops. It really can be like what works for you, and maybe the Leela Life Training's a better route in for some people, but that's the way I did it, and it really worked for me.
It's interesting, the process, isn't it, of like when you're making that decision as well. And like for me anyway, it was just like, does this feel like a yes? Does this feel like something that I want to do and I'm ready for? And wow, 7 months of my life kind of thing. So it's that feeling of like, yes, even though there's a bit of like, oh my god, what am I getting myself into? What the hell's going to happen kind of thing? But there was a like, this is going to be, it's like a whisper for me. It's like, this is going to be really good for you.
I want to speak to that a little bit, actually, because I think it's really important for anybody that may be aware of what we offer, and it's a bit like, a week-long container for the total life change intensive is too much, or a 7-month process is too much, because the time, you know, that you're here can be a barrier for some people. And actually for me, I want to really advocate for the longer, more immersive containers that Leela offers. We do weekend workshops where you can come and drop in, even the Leela Life Training, you can just drop into an individual module if it resonates for you and get a taste. And I believe personally, from how I work also in my sort of non-Leela life with clients, that some of the deeper transformational pieces happen over a longer period of time, because you allow that space for integration. So for me, it's like the total life change intensive is a week, but you really, really need a week. You really can go deep in that time, because it's such it's an immersion, and it's just really just powerful. And to speak to the Leela Life Training more, like for me, having that regular workshop once a month, you come in, you kind of do what the workshop's offering, you take what you need to take from that, and then you've got space to really integrate and be with what's coming up for you, and then you can move that into the next workshop. And each of the workshops has a particular theme that for me flowed really nicely. It was like, okay, so I'm working with my connection to self first and foremost, like where are my blocks to, you know, being fully expressed, whatever that looks like for you, where do I not feel I'm good enough, or I'm not loving myself. I start to explore that, but then you're also doing that and seeing how human that is, because everybody else who's in that group with you are having similar challenges in life. So it kind of almost like speaks to that part that's like, it's just me that's having this experience, it's just me that's feeling this way. And actually that is what community is. So the Leela Life Training is like a community-based program that invites you in to become a part of a group where you all have this common shared experience in some way, or look different for different people, but there is these core themes that move through you, and then you get to explore that with friends in a really like well-held container. That's like, you've got that support moving through, because you're all in this group together. You keep in touch if you want to in between workshops, and then you start to explore different themes, like the relating piece. You know, it may be like how you express yourself, it may be empowerment, and it gave me so much. It brought up a lot, so I don't want to like say, you know, you're not going to experience challenge. Like for me, like if we want to, you don't learn and grow from staying in your comfort zone. So I just want to be super clear, like you don't learn and grow from being in your comfort zone. You have to have a level of challenge, and this is the piece I speak to, is about, you know, that window of tolerance. It's like leaning into the challenge where you're going to grow, because you've got that support, rather than like coming in and not really being like able to receive that learning. So it can be challenging. It did bring up a lot through the interpersonal pieces, but I needed those pieces, and then I was able to integrate those pieces, and I mean, my goodness, it gave me so much came from that. Like the main thing I want to share as well around like the workshops that Leela offers is it really is like alchemy for the heart. And of course, we've all got pain in our hearts. We're all holding stories around like why, you know, we can't be open-hearted, why we can't be vulnerable, or all of these things, you know, intimacy. And actually, this place is a place where you can start to unravel that a little bit. And of course, this is why I'm saying it's not totally light work, but it is going into those places in a way where you're like doing that with others, to be like, okay, I've got this painful piece that I want to bring out. Like what wounding might I have there that wants to just be brought out, and it's really coming back into that place of like heart and love. And ultimately, I mean, that is the journey of my whole time at Leela, because it wasn't just the Leela Life Training. I was also living here, so I was also in the environment as well, and it's just been the most alchemical journey of heart and alchemy, meaning like, you know, transformation through that. It's like, it's transmutation, it's not even transformation. It's like I'm a different person to who I was when I first came here, and the changes that have happened in me, they're good changes. Like for me, like I'm just like, wow, I have to take moments to really allow that to land in, because also the edge is like, you know, celebrating ourselves. I mean, that's one of the core themes with the Leela Life Training, is like celebrating ourselves. How vulnerable is it to actually, like, for me to show love and appreciation for myself? Because there's like, what might you think? Oh, you know, Kalia's a bit arrogant, she's a bit full of herself. You know, it's all these stories that we've been taught and conditioned with to not let ourselves shine. But I'm really proud of myself and the journey that I've been on, to say, wow, I am like a maturer, more solid, more loving version of myself that still has challenges, still has human experience. I notice, you know, some judgment might come up, or something's there, and then I know that that's a place where I can bring more love and compassion to, and then offer that out to the other and have more love and compassion for them. That's the beauty of community. That's the beauty of this. I've got goosebumps as I'm saying that. It's so powerful. Yeah,
Great.
I really like to talk about this, as you can tell.
It totally, I mean, everything you've just said is just like, resonating in my body, and like some of the kind of like the core pieces which I find are, you know, every conversation that I have with people, like it's, and I was chatting to somebody last week, Rob came onto the podcast, it's like just this sense of like the community as well, and like as you go through the process, like the togetherness, you know, and the potential for friendship, and one of the things I always go on about, like, you know, even from my past kind of experience and stuff, is like it's when we share something which is vulnerable, and then it's seen by others, and other people go, oh yeah, I experienced that too.
Yeah, it's so powerful.
It's like you feel it, you feel this like release in the body, this drop away, where it's like, oh okay, it's not just me, it's not just me, and it's always like one of the other things you mentioned about like celebration and things, like those are also some of the like the hardest things, you know, because we've got this like inner critic which is going, it's, oh, what's wrong with me, why can't I should, and all these pieces, and like, you know, wanting to dig for like the darker, that, you know, and, you know, finding what's wrong with us and stuff, and what Leela brings is the fact that you're a level, you know, and Barbara will say it again and again, and the facilitators will say it again and again. It's like, you're a level being. You're beautiful. You're lovable. And it's that process of like continuing to come back and continuing to like rewire the brain through, you know, your own work and the love you give to yourself, and also the support of the community to reflect that back to you and give that back to you. Which is, it's these pieces, you know, that then the body starts to kind of believe it, and then we can get into that mode of celebration and going, oh, actually I'm not so bad, and I'm okay, and it's like, I am beautiful, and I'm proud of myself, and that is sometimes the hardest work.
It really is,
you know.
So and that's definitely been part of my shadow, like it's like, oh, I want to dive into all of the you know, the more murky ground, and actually the edge for me, the learning, the most transformational piece was allowing myself to like receive appreciation, to be celebrated, and also like there was a piece that was moving around like love, you know, actually really knowing what it feels like to love, and it was like love also isn't, you know, it's not like love and light, it's actually like love is also like, how do we move through challenges, how do we move through rupture in relationships, how do we move through like breaches of trust, are we really open to rebuilding trust, are we really open to walking our talk and like really loving ourselves and because loving ourselves is then loving other people. And it's just so powerful. It's so powerful. And one of the big pieces that for me was where we might hold shame, which feels so important. And as you said, when you're in a group of people that are also having their own experiences, whatever that looks like for them, it just totally just, for me, the shame is what falls away, because it's like, I don't have to hide this. And suddenly the more you start to be like, oh, I've got whatever it might be, like, you know, whatever story's there, or you know, whatever's going on for you, it's like, actually everyone else in the room is there going, we love you, you are great. And then you're just like, and how we just don't, as a society and culture, we don't practice that. You know, we're not the edge actually is like, where do we experience joy? Like, where do we experience, I mean, that's been one of the themes for the Desire and Intimacy Festival as well. It's like, where are we denying ourselves pleasure? Like, well, how can we invite more of this in? Because it's okay to be with the challenges in life, but we need to balance that out with nourishment. We need to balance that out with friendship, with connection, with receiving support. And I think some of us we're not comfortable with receiving. You know, you might relate, like, so many people want to give, you know, and you can see the people that are there, like, I'm much more comfortable giving, and like, actually sometimes the journey for us is to also let the love in from outside as well, because letting the love in from the outside, from your community, also it's also retraining, like you said, you're rewriting that piece. That's like, actually, I can start to learn from these people about how to love myself. And then that's where the real transformation happens, when you start to speak to yourself in a positive way. You can be accountable, of course, but you start to really hold that love for yourself. And that is really, for me, true empowerment, because that's what the power of loving yourself through all of the things you think you should feel shame for, or you think people are going to judge you for, and then you realise they don't. Everyone's like, I've got my story too. It's just like, it's so healing. Yay! Yay!
Oh my god! Literally, we should start doing like maybe 2-hour podcast.
Yeah, I think so. I know. Well, I can talk.
Yeah, we can. Why not? Maybe we'll get there. So I kind of just want to finish off, because we do want to keep this a little bit shorter as well for now. That's the kind of format we're going with, but because there's so many ways into Leela, isn't there? Like, and this is the thing. It's like, what do you go into? Like, what's the first step? And you know, just even from saying, you know, your reflection around the Leela Life Training or the TLC, there isn't a right way. I did it around the other way actually. As well, which kind of it worked for me. You know, there wasn't like, oh, I should have done this first or whatever. And even the festivals, right? I mean, these festivals. So transformational.
Absolutely.
I can feel it in my body. I can feel like there's another layer has chipped away about, you know, my ability to show myself, my ability to go towards intimacy. You know, so there's so many layers. Right?
The onion.
the onion. So I guess there isn't the one way, right? There isn't the one way.
No.
And kind of like I said before, you know, for me anyway, it's like feeling into what's resonating, where the edge, and you talked about this edge, you know, it's like, I always remember like going to a festival once, and it was like, there was a flirting workshop, and I was like, ugh. And I was like, wow, that is my edge. Okay, I'm going to go through the door. I didn't want to go through the door, but I went through the door, you know, and it was great. It was transformational. It supported me in so many ways. And I guess it's that, but if you've got anything to speak to that piece,
absolutely. I mean, I would trust like the call. So for me, like, there was a call to come to Leela. I just saw it. It kept cropping up. I was like, what's this Leela place? Like, what's it about? Like, and it was really edgy for me to come. I didn't know anybody at the time. I had a couple of friends that were here when I first came, but I trusted that call. I was like, there's something here for me if I'm being led, or I'm seeing, or I'm feeling that, like, it's speaking to me in some way. And some people might not know what that feels like. I happen to have, like, I can hear the call and then respond to it, and you might find that, like, from what we've shared here, there's something that sparks like a little bit of interest, where you're just like, oh, maybe I do want to experience what it might be to be accepted by a big group of people. Maybe I want to just feel into what that feels like. And it's like just trusting yourself with the ability to take one step. Like, what's the first doable step that might be good for you? Is it checking out the website and just getting a feel for it? Is it, giving us a call and asking some questions if that's what you feel you need to do? Is it booking onto one of the sort of, we had the Art of Meditation recently with Kimaya and Kalia, who are amazing at facilitating meditations, part of the community. That can be a really lovely way into experiencing Osho Leela without kind of going too far into the edge, you know? Maybe that's the next piece. But I just really invite people to consider like how community and how transforming challenge in community can be for you, because it really just has a quality that I haven't found anywhere else. Personally, for me, that's what I think is so unique about Osho Leela, is that because you're in a community that's already established and then you're also learning with a group of peers, it just has this extra layer of like, you're really like, it's just permission to be human, and that's what I'm all about anyway. So of course it lights me up and I want to talk for 2 hours about it. But lovely. Okay, thank you so much, Kalia. So appreciate you, and so appreciate you coming onto the podcast. So as we kind of mentioned, the website www.osholeela.uk. If you're interested in the programs in particular, so Barvo, our wonderful Barvo, is over the TLC, the Total Life Change, the Leela Life Change. He actually is going to be offering, because we're updating him with the next level terminology of a discovery call. Yes. So he's going to be doing discovery calls, which is basically your opportunity to find out more about Leela and more about the programs. And just see if it's right for you, because sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. And then you can get that guidance and support to direct you to something that may be more beneficial for you in that moment. Options. Explore. Follow us on our socials. We are on Instagram as well, as Osho Leela. We are on Facebook. There's a Facebook group as well where you can kind of like delve in, and we share on stories as well. So if you like stories, you can add us to your stories, and we're always sharing about the community and so many things. Is that everything? I think just our social media is like the window into what we're about, and you can really get an essence for what we're offering. When you see that, and we want to showcase what we're offering here as well, but I feel like the stories in the group in particular offers a little more of a feel about what are other people saying about Osho Leela. Obviously, we are in service to Leela in a more direct way, because I'm like working with promo, you're also here doing your various wonderful roles. So it's also like, what are people that aren't, like, what are they saying? Because we share like testimonials and things like that. So it's also good to just speak to other people and get a sense for what feels good. But I would just say, go for it, because there is an element of also sometimes just taking you do need that element of like and taking the jump, as Barvo would say. So also just inviting you to take the jump and come and just experience it for yourself. Definitely. And I just want to mention that as well, like, we are the promo. And it's like, hi, like the integrity of that as well, but it's like we both me and Kalia, we tap into like our highest excitement, and it's like we're always like and it's like we're doing this from pleasure, as well as the fact that it's also paid roles, so just to really name that as well. So let's finish up there. Thank you. Thank you, Louise. Thank you to our wonderful cameraman and editor Josh. Thank you, Josh, in the background, doing an amazing job. We're so appreciative, and this is another aspect of community, is that we have so many people with so many different skills, and also encouraging them to follow their highest enjoyment. So thank you, Josh, for being a cool part of our team. He's giving us the thumbs up. So we'll leave it at there. Yay! Love you, baby. Love you too. Oh, yay. You rock. Yeah, you do. Love you, bye.